Shalom. My name is MOREH ISHIYAH Yisrael from the House of Israel in Cincinnati, Ohio, 2330 Kemper Lane, bringing to you in 40 minutes or less. In 40 minutes or less, I will prove beyond a shadow of a doubt the word of Yahweh. Who is this Yahweh? Yahweh is the creator of the heaven, the earth, the sea, and all that is therein. Yahweh is the Elohim of our fathers, Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yisrael, whom you may know as Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Yahweh is our judge. Yahweh is our lawgiver. Yahweh is our king, who will save us. Shalom. In today's lesson, lesson number 11, we will deal with the law of your gates, dwelling, and habitation. Little do people know we have laws that govern everything that we do in the word of Yahweh. And as we've been telling you, we will deal with these laws that governs everything in 40 minutes or less. But in today's lesson, we will deal with the law of your gates, dwelling, and habitation. The very first scripture I want you to consider is in the book of Exodus, the 20th chapter, starting at the 8th verse. And this is what it says. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of Yahweh thy Elohim. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. Because we're talking about the law of your gates, your dwelling, and your habitation. And you notice this is something that you're supposed to do where you live. That's where what the word gates mean. That's what the word dwelling mean, where you dwell at, where you live at. And not only that, that is exactly what the word habitation means. It don't mean your inheritance. It don't mean the Holy Land. It just mean where you live. And where you live, you must remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. And not only the Sabbath day in the book of Exodus, the 20th chapter, Yahweh would also let you know this same thing in Deuteronomy, the 5th chapter. Let us turn there. Deuteronomy, the 5th chapter. And I will give you 7 different witnesses, 7 different laws that will let you know what to do in your gates, what to do in your dwelling, what to do in your habitation. In the book of Deuteronomy, the 5th chapter, I'm going to start reading at the 12th verse. Let's start at the 12th verse. And this is what it says. Keep the Sabbath day to sanctify it, as Yahweh thy Elohim have commanded thee. 6 days thou shalt labor and do all thy work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of Yahweh thy Elohim. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy ox, nor thy ass, nor any of thy cattle, nor the strangers that is within thy gates, that thy manservant and thy maidservant may rest as well as thou. And remember that thou was a servant in the land of Egypt, and that Yahweh thy Elohim brought thee out thence through a mighty hand and a stretched out arm. Therefore Yahweh thy Elohim commanded thee to keep the Sabbath day. In other words, not only Yahweh told us to do this, but he even gave us the purpose, the reason in which we do it. Furthermore, in the book of Exodus 35, let us turn there. In the book of Exodus 35, and this is what it says in the second verse. 6 days shall work be done. But on the 7th day there shall be to you a holy day, a Sabbath of rest to Yahweh. Whosoever doeth work therein shall be put to death. Ye shall kindle no fire throughout your habitations upon the Sabbath day. So as we can see, on the Sabbath day, we don't kindle no fires, not in our habitations. Because what is your habitations? Where you live. This is not talking about the Holy Land. This is not talking about your inheritance. This is not talking about the 12 gates. It is talking about the 12 gates where you live, but it's talking about anywhere that you live. And we're going to show you that. The last thing I want you to see about your gates, your dwelling, your habitation concerning the Sabbath day is in the book of Leviticus, the 23rd chapter. And this is what it says in the book of Leviticus, the 23rd chapter. Now watch this. And we're going to read in the book of Leviticus 23, the 3rd verse. And watch what it says. 6 days shall work be done. But the 7th day is the Sabbath of rest, a holy convocation. Ye shall do no work therein. It is the Sabbath of Yahweh in all your dwellings. So he's not just telling us what to do in our gates, but he's also telling us what to do in our habitations as well as our dwellings, ours, where we live. The second thing that I want you to see, the second law I want you to see concerning your gates, dwelling, and habitation is in the book of Deuteronomy, the 6th chapter. In the book of Deuteronomy, the 6th chapter, and I'm just going to point out 7 different laws. But in the book of Deuteronomy, the 6th chapter, this is what it says. And we'll start at the 4th verse. This is what it says. Shema Yisrael, hear, O Israel, Yahweh our Elohim, Yahweh is one. And thou shalt love Yahweh thy Elohim with all thy heart, with all thy soul, and with all thy might. And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thy heart. And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in the house, when thou walkest by the way, when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. And thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thy hand, and they shall be as frontlets between thy eyes. And watch this 9th verse. And thou shalt write them upon the posts of thy house and on thy gates. This is what we're to do. We're supposed to write the law on our gates, on our house. That is a law. And what is our gates? What is our house? Where we live. The 3rd law that I want you to see is in the book of Deuteronomy, the 12th chapter. Let us turn there. The 3rd law concerning our gates, our dwellings, as well as our habitations. In the book of Deuteronomy, the 12th chapter, and we're going to start reading at the 15th verse. And watch what this says. Notwithstanding, thou mayest kill and eat flesh in all thy gates, whatsoever thy soul loveth after, according to the blessing of Yahweh thy Elohim, which he hath given thee. The unclean and the clean may eat thereof, as of the roebuck and as of the hart. In other words, it's letting us know that we can eat flesh, we can kill flesh wherever we live. And we're going to deal a little bit more with that, but right before we leave this, go to the book of Deuteronomy, the 14th chapter, and we're going to read the 21st verse, still dealing with dietary instructions. In the book of Deuteronomy 14, verse 21, ye shall not eat of anything that dieth of itself. Thou shalt give it unto the stranger that is in thy gates, that he may eat it. Or thou mayest sell it unto an foreigner or alien. For thou art a holy people unto Yahweh thy Elohim. Thou shalt not see the kid in his mother's milk. This is the law of our gates, as well as our dwellings and habitation. Also, the fourth law that I want you to see is in the book of Deuteronomy, the 26th chapter. And this is what it says. Deuteronomy 26. And we're going to start reading at the 12th verse. When thou hast made an end of tithing all the tithes of thy increase, the third year, which is the year of tithing, and hast given it unto the Levite, the stranger, the fatherless, the widow, that they may eat within thy gates and be filled. Then thou shalt say before Yahweh the Elohim, I have brought away the hollow things out of my house, and also given them unto the Levite, unto the stranger, to the fatherless, and to the widow, according to all thy commandments which thou hast commanded me. I have not transgressed thy commandments, neither have I forgotten them. I have not eaten thereof in my mourning, neither have I taken away aught thereof for any unclean use, nor given aught thereof for the dead. But I have hearkened to the voice of Yahweh my Elohim, and have done according to all that thou hast commanded me. This is a law concerning your gates. And furthermore, in the book of Deuteronomy, the 14th chapter, starting at the 27th verse, and this is what it says. And the Levite that is within thy gates, thou shalt not forsake him, for he have no part nor inheritance with thee. At the end of 3 years, which is the third year, thou shalt bring forth all the tithe of thy increase the same year, and shall lay it up within thy gates. In other words, your cities, where you live. And the Levite, because he had no part nor inheritance with thee, and the stranger, and the fatherless, and the widow, which are within thy gates, shall come and shall eat and be satisfied, that Yahweh thy Elohim may bless thee in all the work of thy hand which thou doest. The fifth thing that I want you to see concerning the law of your gates, dwelling, habitation. We've already pointed out the Sabbath day. We already pointed out writing the law on your doorposts. We already pointed out eating meat, eating flesh. We already pointed out keeping tithes in the various places that you live. Now the fifth thing, which is in the book of Leviticus, the 3rd chapter. Leviticus, the 3rd chapter. And we're going to start reading Leviticus, the 3rd chapter, at the 17th verse. And watch what this says. 3 and 17. It says, it shall be a perpetual statute for your generations throughout all your dwellings, that ye eat neither fat nor blood. That's all our dwellings. No matter where we live, no matter where we dwell, no matter where our habitations are, we can't eat no fat and blood. And to further illustrate this truth is in a book of Deuteronomy, the 12th chapter. In the book of Deuteronomy, the 12th chapter, This is what it says, starting at the 15th verse. And watch what it says. Notwithstanding, thou mayest kill and eat flesh in all thy gates, whatsoever thy soul lusted after, according to the blessing of Yahweh thy Elohim, which he hath given thee. The unclean and the clean may eat thereof, as of the robot and of the hart. Only ye shall not eat the blood, ye shall pour it upon the earth as water. That's what we're to do. The sixth thing, just two more things. The sixth thing Yahweh told us to do, whether it's in our gates, whether it's in our dwelling, and whether it's in our habitation, in the book of Leviticus, the 23rd chapter. And this is what it says in the book of Leviticus, the 23rd chapter. And I'm going to read, we're going to start reading. Let's start at the 27th verse so you can understand what this is saying. Also, on the 10th day of the 7th month, there shall be a day of atonement. It shall be a holy convocation unto you. Ye shall afflict your souls, offer an offering made by fire unto Yahweh. And ye shall do no work in that same day, for it is a day of atonement, to make an atonement for you before Yahweh your Elohim. For whatsoever soul it be that shall not be afflicted in that same day, he shall be cut off from among his people. And whatsoever soul it be that doeth any work in that same day, the same soul will I destroy from among his people. Ye shall do no manner of work. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations in all your dwellings. It shall be unto you a Sabbath of rest. Ye shall afflict your souls in the 9th day of the month at even. From even unto even shall ye celebrate your Sabbath. That's the Day of Atonement. It don't matter what sacrifices got to be made in Jerusalem, because you wasn't in Jerusalem anyway for the sacrifice. You were celebrating the Day of Atonement in all your dwellings, because this is the law concerning your gates, your dwellings, as well as your habitations. And the last law that I want you to see, the 7th law, because I'm only giving you 7, even though there's more. In the book of Exodus, the 12th chapter. And this is what it says in Exodus 12. In the book of Exodus 12, and we're going to start reading. We're just going to read a couple things. Let's start reading at the 18th verse. Watch what it says. In the first month, on the 14th day of the month at even, ye shall eat unleavened bread until the 21st day of the month at even. 7 days shall there be no leaven found in your houses, for whosoever eateth that which is leavened, even that soul shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel, whether it be stranger or born in the land. Ye shall eat nothing leavened. In all your habitations shall ye eat unleavened bread. And the last scripture concerning the Feast of Unleavened Bread is in the book of Deuteronomy, the 16th chapter. And this is what it says in the book of Deuteronomy 16. And we will read the 3rd verse. Thou shalt eat no leavened bread with it. 7 days shalt thou eat unleavened bread therewith, even the bread of affliction. For thou camest forth out of the land of Egypt in haste, that thou mayest remember the day when thou camest forth out of the land of Egypt, all the days of thy life. That's what Yahweh wanted us to do in our gates, in our dwellings, and our habitations. This is that law. And until our next lesson, Yahweh love you, and so do I. Shalom.